What's up YouTube, Doomnyc here with another discussion segment. This one is going to be on the September 2010 ban list. These are just my predictions so far, like from what I've seen and from decks that I've played against. So yeah, let's get started. First off, we got X-Saber Dark Soul. This card is way too broken. I think that it'll probably go down to 2, but I don't think it's going down to 1 if it gets touched at all. But I think it should because it's way too broken, and I see a lot of the X-Saber builds are using 3 of them now, so definitely that one's going down to 2. X-Saber Fall Troll, this one is pretty obvious. You know, he's really broken, and I see him definitely getting semi to 2. Raikou, another card that's being semi to 2. He's being over abused in a lot of different decks, like too many different decks. So even like zombies like use this guy. So yeah, I definitely see him going back down to 2. Okay, Breeze, Black Wings, you know, like all the tier 1 decks, they always gotta get hit. And in a tier 1 deck that drops to tier 2, like, we'll get stuff back in the following ban list, but Black Wings are tier 1, so I think Breeze is gonna keep semi to 2, definitely. Oh, here's a card that I know a lot of you guys use, Dandelion. I'm sorry guys, but this guy is being over abused. I see him in Monarch decks, Quick Draw Plants, like way too many different decks. So yeah, he's gonna go down to limited status to 1. I mean I can't help but say that that's gonna happen. Battle Fader, he's a great card. Like, you know, a lot of people used it at 1, and then they started using 2 in a deck, and now it's just 3 everywhere. Like, that's too many. It's just like Gores. You know, Gores got limited because he came on the field for a number of different reasons, but this guy, he stops attacks completely, so you don't take any damage. You don't get a big beater, but who cares, because you contribute him off for Kai's the next turn. So that's why I think that's going down to 2. Here's a card that's actually going to increase in value, Lumina. I think Lightsworn got hit so hard the last ban list that they're going to try to, you know, bring it back to let it be a little more competitive. So Lumina is definitely going to go back to 2, I think. So, you know, help them out. Another card, Machina Gear Frame. This card is too good. It's just like Stratos for Machinas. So Machina Gadgets, I'm sorry, but there's too many of you guys out there, and this guy's probably gonna be semi-limited to 2, but I wouldn't be surprised if they brought him down to 1 because he's so broken. Necro Gardener, no deck is really like using him like before. Like when he was at 3, you know, Lightsworn abused it. Basically, you know, with all the milling power, they were milling wolves and milling necros and milling the plague, and it was just like too much to handle. But now, since Lightsworn is not really being used at all, it's like everybody's on Infernities and X-Sabers, so I definitely see this guy going back to 2 at least, or maybe even just completely off the ban list. Tragodia, yeah, Trago was heavily abused before, you know, with gadgets and stuff like that, but now because of the Machinas, like Machina Gadgets, like have their own, you know, synergy going on there. So I don't really see Trago being like a big factor in any deck right now, so I see him going back to 2. Sorry guys, I know, Kai's, it's about time. You know, it really is. I love Kai's. Like, he is like probably the best monster period right now, but there's nothing that we can do. He's too good, and he works well in like every deck. So I definitely see him being semi to 2. You know, it happened to Ryza, and now it's gonna happen to Kai's. Mizuki, just because, you know, a lot of people said that, oh, Mizuki at 2 was broken, and, you know, 3 is just unheard of. But guess what? Zombies took such a big hit with him going to 1 that they completely fell off tier 1 status. And the only way to keep Yu-Gi-Oh competitive with lots of different decks and to just balance out, you know, all the competition, is to like even out certain things, like bringing Mizuki back to 2. So I think that's gonna happen. Infinity Archfiend, like you guys didn't really see this coming. Way too broken, you know. He's a searcher. He has like too many effects, and he's a beater for like one of the best decks, if not the best deck out there. So they definitely had to semiing this guy like 100%. This guy's going down to 2. Let's go on to the spells. We got 1 Rhoda. There's no reason, like the only warrior type right now that's being like, you know, summoned is Grypher. So this is definitely going back to 2. There's no reason, or maybe even completely off the ban list. Charge of the Light Brigade, bringing this down to 1, like hurt Lights 1 the most probably. So this is gonna go back to 2, and you know, just to even everything out. E-Telly, there's no reason for this to be at 1 anymore. I mean, Teledad is gone. It was great when it was here. It was the best deck, and now it's completely trash. So E-Telly is probably going back to 2. I don't see it at 3 because then I think it's gonna get abused again. But if it goes back to 2, you know, just make things a little more competitive. And Infinity Launcher, way too broken of a card. Dumping from your hand and special summoning from the grave, way too broken. This is getting semied. If it gets like limited to 1, I don't know, Infinities is gonna be taking too heavy of a hit, I think. So they'll probably bring that down to 2. Let's go into the traps. We got Gotham's Emergency Call. This card is too broken, and it's like sided in like every deck. So I think this is going from 3 to 2. I think that's good enough. If it goes to 1, I wouldn't be surprised. So yeah, watch out for that. Sorry guys, Icarus Attacks. I know a lot of Blackwing players, like they have to have 3 of these in their deck, but it's way too good. It's too broken. You set Vayu, you flip this up, you tribute the Vayu and put him in the grave where he needs to be, and you destroy 2. I mean, unless they have Starlight Road on the field, like that's, you know, too broken. And speaking of which, Starlight Road, this card is definitely, I think this is going to 1. I don't even think it's going into 2. It's skipping straight to 1. I think it's too broken. I think too many people use 2 of these in a deck, and you know, the effect is too good. So you know, you're negating something to bring something on the field that negates stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's like too much negation. So it's too broken. So that's going to 1. Now I got a couple of synchros I want to bring in. Drill Warrior, I think his effect is so good that, you know, they're probably gonna limit this to 1, and it can't be helped. It's just too good. Stardust Dragon, it's been out the longest for the synchros, but it's about time. You know, every deck is using it like hands down, and they probably have like 3 in their deck. So this is gonna get semi to 2. 2 is still gonna be workable, guys, so don't frown too much. And last but not least, Dark Strike Fighter. Level 7s out there besides Black Rose and maybe Urbellum, they suck. They're terrible, the level 7s. Okay, Armor Master, great, but that's only for Blackwing. So, you know, you need like something big, something that can like help you in a situation that's level 7. And besides Black Rose being able to blow up the field, fine, it blows up the field, but it gets destroyed itself. So we need something a little more concrete. I think Dark Strike Fighter is the way to go. He went straight from 3 to 0, and I think that was unfair. I think Dark Strike, they should have like limited him to 1 back then, you know, just to see if it was still as broken as, you know, people made it to be. But yeah, I think this is going to go back to 1, only just to balance it out, make, you know, the decks a little bit more even, a little bit more balanced. I know some people said they might quit if this card came back, but guess what? That's just tough luck, you know. This card deserves another chance. It should come back, and it should be limited to 1. Alright guys, that was the 2008 September 2010, sorry, September ban list. I hope you guys liked it. Please rate, comment, subscribe, and especially tell me if you think that I need to like discuss some other cards or maybe take stuff out. Just leave comments on the vid. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So until next time, YouTube, peace.